Everything you've been told about living alone after 65 is wrong, dead wrong. While everyone's worrying about loneliness, isolation, and decline, there's a hidden group of seniors living alone who are happier, healthier, and living longer than married couples. The World Health Organization just released findings that confirm it, and there are exactly 4 reasons why. By the time you finish this video, you'll know whether you're in the danger zone or already on the path to becoming one of the thriving 30%. My name is Robert Henderson. I'm 68 years old. I live right here in Columbus, Ohio, and 3 years ago, I became one of the 27% of Americans our age who live alone. And what I discovered changed everything. Before we dive in, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to every one of you who've subscribed to this channel. Your support means the world to me, and if you're watching this and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I'd be honored if you join our community. We're building something special here, a place where we don't just survive aging, we master it. So go ahead and click that subscribe button and ring the bell, because what I'm about to share today could literally add years to your life. 3 years ago, on a Tuesday morning in March, I woke up in the house Margaret and I had shared for 42 years, and she wasn't there. Cancer had taken her 6 months earlier, but that particular morning, the silence hit different. I made coffee, just 1 cup instead of 2. I sat at our kitchen table, my kitchen table now, and I looked around at all the emptiness. And I'll be honest with you, I was scared. Not scared of being alone. Scared of what everyone kept telling me would happen because I was alone. My daughter Sarah called me every other day from Phoenix. Dad, have you thought about moving to an assisted living place? You know, where there are people around? My son Mike, over in Cleveland, would say, Pop, you're going to get depressed. You can't just sit there by yourself. My doctor looked at me over his glasses and said, Robert, social isolation is a serious health risk. You need to think about your options. Even the lady at Kroger, Sweet Betty, patted my hand and said, Oh honey, you must be so lonely. They all meant well, but they all said the same thing, like it was gospel truth. Living alone after 65 is dangerous. Living alone means loneliness. Living alone means decline. So, I did what any retired insurance adjuster would do. I started investigating. Really investigating. I spent months reading research from the World Health Organization, Harvard Medical School, the CDC, universities in Japan, Sweden, Italy, places where people live to 100 and stay active. And you know what I found? Everything we've been told is incomplete, not exactly wrong, but missing the most important parts. There's a statistic everyone loves to quote. Social isolation increases early mortality by 30%. That's real. But here's what nobody tells you. Living alone is not the same as being isolated. In fact, study after study shows that seniors who live alone but stay connected have better mental health, more independence, stronger cognitive function, and even live longer than many seniors who live with others but feel lonely anyway. There are 4 secrets to making this work. 4 things that separate the seniors who thrive living alone from those who struggle. These aren't tips or feel-good advice. They are fundamental, research-backed shifts in how you live and think at this age. The first secret is that micro-connections are more powerful than deep relationships for day-to-day well-being. I know that sounds strange. We're taught that only close friends and family matter. But a 2024 global study found that the happiest seniors weren't the ones with big families. They were the ones with the most regular, brief, positive interactions throughout their day. These are micro-connections, and they changed my life. 6 months after Margaret passed, I realized I hadn't spoken to another person in 3 days. I felt that heaviness in my chest, that fog in my head. So the next morning, I made one change. Instead of driving to the big Kroger with self-checkout, I walked to the small shop on Henderson Avenue. On the way, I greeted Mrs. Patterson watering her roses, chatted with Tommy at the coffee cart, talked with whoever was on register, Betty, Marcus, or the new girl, Jennifer. 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there. By the time I got home, I had maybe 5 small interactions. And I felt different. I felt connected again. Science explains why. Brief positive interactions release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and lower cortisol, the stress hormone. Your brain gets these benefits whether you're talking to a close friend or a friendly cashier. And here's the secret nobody talks about. When you live alone, you have more control over these daily interactions. You choose when you go out, who you talk to, when to recharge. You get the peace of living alone with the connection of community. I created 5 touchpoints each week: the morning shop, the coffee cart, church on Sunday, the library on Tuesdays, and the YMCA on Thursdays and Saturdays. I practiced making eye contact, smiling, learning people's names, and giving small compliments. Within 3 months, I felt more connected than I had in years. A Stanford study found that seniors with strong ambient social connections had cognitive scores equivalent to people 8 years younger. 8 years just from micro-connections. The second secret is that solitude isn't the enemy. Purposeless time is. There's a Japanese concept called ikigai, meaning your reason for being. Researchers found it's one of the strongest predictors of longevity. And here's the part nobody says: it's easier to discover and maintain your ikigai when you live alone. When Margaret was alive, my purpose was clear. I was a husband, a caretaker, a partner. After she passed, I felt pressure to reinvent myself. But research from the University of Michigan showed that people who live alone often have more time for self-reflection, helping them understand what truly matters to them. When you live with others, you constantly negotiate your time. What's for dinner? What are we doing today? You finally have uninterrupted time to explore your interests and rediscover yourself. I started my morning purpose hour. Every morning after my walk, I spend 1 hour doing something meaningful just for me. Reading Steinbeck, woodworking, listening to music, tending my tomatoes, writing letters to my grandkids. That hour shapes my whole day. The World Bank and WHO found that seniors with at least 90 minutes of self-directed time per day have lower depression, better sleep, and slower cognitive decline. But seniors living with family often get less than 30 minutes a day of real, self-directed time. Living alone gives you space to choose your life again. I created a purpose inventory of 10 things that make me feel alive. Protect 1 hour a day just for one of those things, and learn to recognize the difference between loneliness and purposeful solitude. Loneliness feels empty and anxious. Purposeful solitude feels full and peaceful. Living alone lets you turn solitude into a source of strength. The third secret is that the goal isn't independence, it's interdependence. I was raised to believe independence was everything. But trying to do everything yourself as you age is dangerous. 8 months ago, I was on a stepladder, changing a light bulb. The ladder shifted. I grabbed the doorframe, and something in my shoulder popped. My first thought was, don't tell the kids. I didn't want them saying, see? You shouldn't live alone. So I hid the injury until it got bad enough that I had to see my doctor. I was trying so hard to prove I didn't need help that I almost made the problem worse. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows the healthiest seniors living alone aren't the most independent, they're the most interdependent. Social capital, your network of people you help and who help you, reduces mortality by 50% over 10 years. Independence says, I don't need anyone. Interdependence says, I can do many things myself, but I also have people I can rely on, and people who can rely on me. That's healthy. My neighbor Ed and I help each other. I take him to physical therapy. He fixes things around my house. At church, I'm part of a call circle checking on 8 people every week, and they check on me when needed. UCLA research shows that seniors trying to be completely independent have higher stress, inflammation, and worse immune function than seniors who embrace interdependence. Helping others and receiving help lowers stress hormones and strengthens your sense of belonging. I identified a few people for reciprocal relationships, offered small help, practiced asking for small help, and created regular check-ins. This builds a network where nobody is dependent, but nobody is isolated either. The fourth secret is the most important. Protect your cognitive sovereignty. Cognitive sovereignty means maintaining your ability to make your own choices, control your own life, and keep your identity intact. And the truth is, many seniors living with younger family members lose this without realizing it. My friend Frank moved in with his daughter after his wife passed. She meant well, but slowly, she began making decisions for him: what he should wear, eat, when he should go to bed, even taking over his errands. Frank told me, I'm not sick or confused, but they treat me like I am. And now, I'm starting to feel like I am. That loss of autonomy accelerates cognitive decline, increases depression, and lowers life satisfaction. A 2023 Johns Hopkins study tracked seniors for 10 years and found that seniors who made more daily decisions had cognitive performance equivalent to people 5 to 7 years younger. Seniors living alone made 40% more daily decisions than those living with family. Why? Because when you live alone, you make dozens of choices every day: what to eat, when to sleep, whether to go out, what to watch, what to wear. These decisions strengthen executive function. I noticed that living alone made me a better thinker. I considered decisions more carefully: roof repairs, medical choices, whether to join a book club. When Margaret was alive, we made decisions together. But now, making decisions alone keeps my mind sharp. My kids and I have a clear plan. I get yearly cognitive screenings. We agreed on what real concern looks like and what is just normal aging. Living alone doesn't mean living without safety. It means keeping your autonomy while you're still fully capable. To protect cognitive sovereignty, you need to make decisions actively, keep a journal of big decisions, set boundaries with well-meaning family, stay mentally challenged, and know the difference between needing physical help and needing decision-making help. Living alone helps you stay sharp because you're practicing autonomy daily. So, to recap the 4 secrets: use micro-connections for daily well-being, use solitude with purpose, build interdependence instead of isolation, and protect your cognitive sovereignty. These 4 things transformed my life. 3 years ago, after Margaret passed, I thought I was entering the last chapter: quiet decline, loneliness, a slow fading. But the truth is, these have been some of the most alive, most meaningful years of my life. I wake up in my own space, on my own terms. I'm connected to my community, I've rediscovered my purpose, and I'm using my mind and my time with intention. I miss Margaret every day. But I'm not lonely. I'm not declining. I'm thriving. If you're living alone now, or about to, I want you to know you're not alone in being alone. Millions of seniors live alone. And the ones doing it intentionally are not just okay, they're thriving. Apply these 4 secrets and watch what happens. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't yet, click that button and join our community. Share this video with someone who needs it. And stay tuned for our next video about the financial secrets of living alone that can save you thousands a year and protect your independence. Living alone doesn't mean living less. Sometimes it means living more intentionally, more purposefully, more authentically. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.